we are starting with the second part, that is nothing but the heart. So the heart, where it is located, what's its function and how it is working, that is what we are going to learn now. So where is the location or where the heart is located? Yes, it is located between the two lungs. You know, we have two lungs. How many hearts do we have? Only one heart. Okay. So you can say that this heart is located in between the lungs and above the diaphragm. What is meant by diaphragm? Yes, that is the muscular membrane that is separating the thoracic and abdominal cavity, that is called as diaphragm. So above the diaphragm the heart is located. When we are telling, we may say that this is heart is a bit to the left side. Actually it is not to the left side, it is the center only, but it is somewhat, you can see, triangular in shape, and that cone region at the end region little bit it is towards the left side, that's all. Then the covering of the heart. The heart in an adult human being, it is the size of our closed fist. That is, this is the size of your fist size, is the size of your heart. And what about its length? It is 12 centimeter in long and 9 centimeter in width. So 9 centimeter in long and 12 centimeter in long and 9 centimeter it's in width. Okay, and it is covered by a double membrane. So this is the heart. This is the heart, you can see here. It is covered by a double membrane, and this membrane is called as what? Pericardium. The heart outer covering, it is covered by a two-layered membrane, and this is nothing but pericardium. So the covering of the heart is called as what? Pericardium. It is two-layered. Pericardium is two-layered, and in between this pericardium, that is somewhat roughly you can say that it is heart is of this shape, isn't it? So you can say that this is covered by a double-layered membrane, and that is nothing but pericardium. And in between this membrane, a fluid is present, which is called as what? Pericardial fluid. So the fluid present ventricle, it has thicker walls. See here itself, you can say that in the figure itself you can understand. It has thicker walls. Why this has thicker? This is an important question when comparing to the auricle or atrium. Ventricle have thicker walls. You can look into the figure. Okay. They have to pump blood to a longer distance. This ventricle has to pump this blood to a longer distance. So to where it has to pump? So right ventricle, this is the right ventricle. This is the right ventricle. Here this is the right ventricle. And look here, this is the right ventricle. Here you can say that this is the right ventricle. It has to pump the blood to the lungs only, up to the lungs for oxygenation. So right ventricle pump the blood from here to where? To the lungs. What is the purpose? To mix it with what? Oxygen. Okay. Whereas this is the left ventricle. What is its purpose? You can say that it pumps the farthest point of the body. So the left ventricle, this side you can see, it will pump the blood to the farthest region, such as to the toes of the feet and to the brain. So from head to foot, it has to pump the blood. So quite naturally it has to work more. So the ventricle has thicker walls. Understood why ventricle has thicker thicker walls comparing to auricles or atria. This is an important question may come from this part. Okay. Now the blood vessels. Which are the blood vessels entering and leaving the heart? So which blood vessels are entering into the heart and leaving from the heart? So the right atrium. So this is the right atrium. Here this one. This is the right atrium, and you can say that it receives two large vessels. That is, one is called as anterior vena cava and posterior vena cava. So anterior vena cava, otherwise known as, here you can see anterior vena cava. Okay. So this blue part, that is anterior vena cava, otherwise called as superior vena cava. Okay. If you have in textbook, you can look into the figure. So here at the top clearly that blue blood vessels, that is what is anterior vena cava, or otherwise it is called as superior vena cava. What is its function? It has to bring deoxygenated blood from the anterior or upper regions of the body, including head and arms. Okay. So from the upper part of the body, it has to bring deoxygenated blood. So that is the function of anterior vena cava, otherwise called as superior vena cava. Coming to the next one, posterior vena cava. See here it has shown clearly, this blue. Okay. Here it is not shown. Somewhat it will come in this region. But in the first one it is not shown here, whereas here clearly shown, this is this blue colored one, that is called as posterior or inferior vena cava. It brings blood from the posterior or lower regions of the body, including abdomen and legs. So posterior vena cava's function, it has to bring the blood to the heart from which region? From our leg, and again from which part? From the abdomen region also. So these two big blood vessels, now you understood. Now what are the blood vessels leaving from the heart? That is going out from the heart. Arising from the ventricle, there are two large lobed vessels. So the pulmonary artery arises from the left ventricle and carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. So you can see that pulmonary artery. Where is the pulmonary artery? See here, this one, this blue. This one, this blue, this is what is called as what? Pulmonary artery. It arises from the right ventricle. So this is arising from where? From the right ventricle. This pulmonary artery, it is arising from the right ventricle and it carries oxygenated blood to the lungs. It carries deoxygenated blood, it's not oxygenated, it carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. Then next one is aorta. See the big red one here clearly you can see. This is the aorta. Here you can see this is the aorta, red color you can see. What is its function? From where it starts? It starts from the left ventricle. It starts from the left ventricle. Okay. It starts from the left ventricle and carries oxygenated blood. So what's its function? To carry oxygenated blood and supply it to all parts of the body. So understood about pulmonary artery as well as what? Aorta. Pulmonary artery carrying deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs, whereas next one aorta carrying oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Next one is called as coronary arteries. Here, look into the first figure. Here you can see certain red as well as some blue lines are going. Can you see, children? Yes, this is called as coronary arteries and arising this red colored one. See here, this red colored one is called as what? Coronary arteries. The blue one, coronary vein. So clearly you can see. So the coronary artery, it is arising from the base of the aorta. This is the aorta. It is starting from the base of this aorta. It is starting. These lines are called as coronary arteries. It is, and what is this? Supply blood to the heart muscles. What is the function? Supplying blood to the heart muscles. So coronary arteries, that will be supplying blood to the heart vessels. So if any blockage happens to the coronary artery, you can say that it leads to the deadening of that region, that space or that region will be died, and so that the person is getting myocardial infarction, otherwise we commonly call it as heart attack. Okay, and again the common chest pain associated with this heart, that has another name, angina pectoris, that is nothing but chest pain. Now, which are the valves that is regulating the blood in a single direction from auricle to ventricle or ventricle to auricle? You can say that certain valves are there. It allows blood to pass in one direction only. Okay. So, which are those valves? First one is right atrioventricular valve. So, otherwise called as tricuspid valve. It has 3 openings. So, here in this region you can see this clearly. You can see the tricuspid valve or right atrioventricular valve is located between the right auricle and the right ventricle. So this tricuspid valve, otherwise right atrioventricular valve, it is located between the right atrium or right auricle and right ventricle. So 3 flaps are there for this one. That's why it is called as what? Tricuspid valve. So 3 openings or 3 flaps are there, and again you can see that this is controlled by a structure called as chordae tendineae, which in turn is connected to certain muscles called as capillary muscles. So this will adjust, and then these valves will be, or whenever it is needed, it will be opening and closing. Okay. Second one is a left atrioventricular valve, otherwise called as bicuspid valve. So here it is present. See, in the left ventricle, between the left ventricle and left auricle, this valve is present. Here you can see the valve, and it has 2 flaps. It has 2 flaps for opening and closing, and so you can say it is otherwise called as bicuspid valve. What is it called? It is called as bicuspid valve. Third one is pulmonary semilunar valve, that is located between the right ventricle. See here, this right ventricle here, and another flap opening is present, and that is called as pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay. Again, aortic semilunar valve. Here a black dot you can see. So this is what is called as aortic semilunar valve. It is located at the origin of this aorta. Aorta comes and enter like this. Okay. So here in this region, what is present? Aortic semilunar valve is present, and here also you can see that these are 3 in number. Now let us see. So almost the structure now you understood. It has two atria, otherwise called as auricle, and the lower two chambers are called as ventricle. So totally 4 chambers are there, and apart from that the main blood carrying structure is called as pulmonary artery, that carries blood from the upper region, that is from the arms and the head, whereas inferior vena cava that carries blood from the abdomen and legs. Okay, then two main arteries, one is called as pulmonary artery and the next one is called as aorta. And again there is, you can say that this 4 chambers, it is separated by a muscular membrane that is called as septum, and the bicuspid wall, tricuspid wall, and pulmonary semilunar wall and aortic semilunar wall. Now how the blood is circulating in the heart? Okay, it starts with the contraction of the two atria. So in the top what is present? Auricle, otherwise called as atria. So starting with the contraction as well as dilation, means relaxation. So when this atria or auricle contracts, okay, you can see always heart is pumping the blood by the contraction and relaxation. So when the atria contract, what will happen? Blood from the atria or auricle, it passes to where? It goes to the ventricle. And as the blood goes to the ventricle, what happens to the atria or auricle? Yes, it relaxes. Okay. And first when this is contracting, the blood will be, when the auricle contracting, blood will be, you can see that ventricle at this time is relaxing, and so that what will happen? Blood from, this is the auricle here, these are the auricle, these are the ventricle. Okay, and this is the septum separating between these two. Here you can see the valve is present, tricuspid valve. Here bicuspid valve is present. Okay, and again here 3 pocket-like valve is present. Here also it is present. So first this auricle is contracting. These two auricles are what happens? It is contracting. So you can say through this one, blood will be entering into where? Into the ventricle. So blood will be entering into the ventricle, and so that the ventricle will be filled with the blood and atria will be relaxing. Okay. So when the atria relaxes now, blood is filled in the ventricle. Now what the ventricle will do? Ventricle will contract. So that what happens? The blood has to go somewhere, isn't it? So the blood has to immediately, what will happen? These valves will be closing. Otherwise, what will happen? Immediately through this valve, again this blood will be going into the auricle or atria. So to prevent that one, what it will do? Immediately these two, this tricuspid valve as well as this bicuspid valve, what will happen? As soon as the this blood is filled here and it wants to, this ventricle wants to contract, this valve will be closing. So which way if this blood has to go? Yes, here I told you the pocket-like opening is there. One is from the aorta and other one is from the this pulmonary artery. Okay, so that opening, through that opening, blood will be entering. Clear? So not through the bicuspid and tricuspid valve. So this valve allows only the blood to flow in one direction only, not coming into the ventricle and not going back to the auricle. So only in one direction only. So here you can see that Thus by closing it prevents the entry of blood. So here that I told you that the caudate and to hold the flaps or the closing flaps, it will be keep in position, okay, and prevent the overturning of this aorta. Now when the ventricle dilates, again the blood from the pulmonary arteries and aorta. So here pulmonary artery is present and big aorta is also present, okay. So blood will be entering through this flap and then it will, so when blood enters into that one, again what will happen? The ventricle will be dilating, this auricle will be contracting, dilating, like that. This process continuously happens. So that is nothing but what? Heartbeat. We are calling that one as heartbeat. And steps of a heartbeat. What are the steps? Let us see. That each heartbeat consists of two main steps. That is, one is atria contract, then blood flows into the ventricle, then this is ventricle contract, then blood flows through this aorta and pulmonary vein, okay. So the atria contract first, followed by the contraction of ventricle, and the contraction phase is called as systole and the relaxation phase is called as what? Diastole. So contraction phase is called as what? Systole and relaxation phase is called as what? Diastole. So you can see that in human being, to fulfill one heartbeat, that is one systole and one diastole, it takes 0.85 seconds only. So to complete one heartbeat, that is one systole and one diastole. At the, again you can see that the heart sound, when the heart beat, you can hear, if you put your ear near somebody's chest, you can see, you can hear certain sound which is resembles lup dub, that is a sound. So when this lup sound and when this dub sound is coming, that is nothing but when the heart is pumping this blood, that is closing of the atria, then that time relaxing the ventricle, then this contraction of the ventricle, at the same time relaxing this what? Atria. So during that time only the sound, that is lup dub sound is coming. So this the lup sound, how it is produced? When the atrioventricular or tricuspid wall get closed, okay. So when it get closed, when this ventricle contract, the blood will go here. So will it allowed to enter through this one? No, this wall will be closing. That time what sound will be coming? Lup sound will be coming. The second sound, that is duck sound, is produced at the beginning of ventricular diastole and the semilunar wall at the roots of the aorta and pulmonary artery gets closed. So rate of this heartbeat or the speed of the heartbeat, that varies in different animals or different individual. Heartbeat will be different. Say for example, a whale, which is the biggest animal, and the whale, you can see that per minute, in a single minute, heartbeat will be 15 times the heart will beat, whereas in an elephant it will be 25 times per minute, in a horse it is 40, and in an adult man it is 64 to 72 times the heart will beat. Adult woman it is 72 to 80 times the heart beat. And in a cat it is 120 in a minute. In a newborn baby you can see 140 times it beats. In a rat it is 250 times. And in a sparrow it is 800 to 900 times. Usually the heart beat in a single minute. So from this chart something you can understand. So we start with the whale, which is the biggest animal. So there what happens? there the heartbeat is very less per minute. So from that what you can conclude, as the size of the body increases, beat will become lesser. And coming to the last one, the sparrow, which is very small bird and it is very vigorous in its activity. Very small bird, and the sparrow, as its size is very small, nearly 800 to 900 times you can see that this heart is beating. So from that what you can understand, the smaller the animals, what we can say, it has to lose its body heat and thus it is increasing its heartbeat. So the smaller animal, more body heat it has to lose, and thus the rate of heartbeat is increasing. Understood? So as the that's why as the say for example, in a newborn baby, what's the heartbeat it is given? It is 140 times very fastly, that because the child metabolism in the body, the rate of higher the metabolism, and for the growth, because newborn baby you can see growth is very faster in them. Okay, so the rate of metabolism also will be more, therefore faster the heart rate, that keeps the supply and take off the metabolic substances. So in the newborn baby you can say that the heartbeat is faster when comparing to an adult man or adult woman. Okay, next one is nothing but what? Pacemaker. So what is mean by pacemaker? So the impulse command which starts the heartbeat and arise in a pacemaker, that is otherwise called as SAN, short pacemaker. The other name is called as SAN, sinoatrial node. Sinoatrial node, that is full form is SAN, sinoatrial node N. Okay, so SAN. It is located on the wall of the right auricle. So this is the figure. Here where it is located, somewhat here, this region. So this pacemaker, otherwise called as SAN, sinoatrial node, this is located in the walls of the right auricle. Okay, this is present in the opening of the superior vena cava, and then you can say while the AVN node, another node is there near to this only. Here another node in the textbook figure clearly you can see, that is called as AVN. Near to that here you can see that atrioventricular node or AVN. Okay, so and again this form a bundle here, that is nothing but his bundle of his. Okay, so bundle of his, from there this will be branching and then it is spreading to the walls here. It is spreading to the walls of the ventricle. And sometimes this pacemaker become faulty and you can see causing the heart in trouble, and that time an artificial pacemaker may be fixed to the heart to such person. So sometimes this pacemaker, or what it is called, it is SAN, that is sinoatrial node, it will be not working in the proper way. So artificially we have to fix an pacemaker in that ventricle region. Okay, that's about heart. Now the next one is blood vessels. What is blood vessels, or how many types of blood vessels are there? Yes, 3 types of blood vessels you know already. One is artery, the next one is vein, and the other one is capillaries. So these are the 3 types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Okay, and capillaries. These are the three types of blood vessels. Artery, what is meant by artery? So arteries are blood vessels which carries blood away from the heart towards the other organ. From heart to other organs. So supplying the arteries are blood vessels that supply blood from heart to other organs in our body. Now, what are the characteristics of an artery? They have thick muscular wall. So, arteries walls are made with muscles which are thick in nature. They have a narrow lumen, means just like a cavity. Inside that blood vessel, there is a narrow lumen or a central canal or central bore, and the blood in it flows in spurts which correspond to the ventricular contraction of the heart. When ventricle contract, the blood with a force, it spurts. Okay, so not slowly, it spurts and it flows in the artery. Then what is meant by a vein? Yes, vein is a blood vessel that carries the blood away from the organ towards the heart. So otherwise we can say that vein is a blood vessel that brings back blood from other organs to the heart. Okay, see the difference between arteries and the veins. Arteries are the blood vessels that supply blood from the heart to the other organs, whereas veins will bring back blood from the heart, from other organs to the heart. Understood the difference between arteries and veins? And now let us see what are the characteristics of this vein. Thin muscular wall. Okay, so here also the wall of the veins are made with muscles, but what is the feature? Yes, it is made with the thin muscular walls, very thin vessel, whereas artery is with thick muscular walls. Next one is it has a wider lumen. So as the wall is thin, you can see the cavity or the lumen or the bore, central bore, that is wider or more comparing to what? Comparing to arteries. Then it contains thin pocket shaped walls. In that you can say that, see that this is the vein. Inside the vein you can say that like this, pocket shaped walls are there. So the pocket shaped walls are there inside what? Veins, and whose opening face the direction of the heart. These walls prevent the backward flow of the blood. So inside the veins what is present? Certain walls are present, and it allows, you can see when it is opening, you can say that it will be like this, open time. It allows the blood to flow through in one direction only. Okay, so it allows the blood to, or it prevents the blood backward flow, it prevents. The smallest of the fine branch of the artery is called arteriole. So the fine branches of artery is called as arteriole. Arterioles are highly muscular and they change their diameter manifold. So the fine branches, that means these arterioles are very thin or fine branches, and it is these arterioles still again breaking into fine branches, that is called as capillaries. Third type of blood vessel, that is called as capillaries. And what are the characteristics of a capillary? Its wall consists of a single layer of squamous epithelial cell. Okay, so the arteries, as you know, it is capillaries. It is very thin or fine branches, and these fine branches, made up of, its wall is made up of a very thin layer of squamous epithelial cell. It has no muscles, as it is very thin. It has no muscles, and the total number of blood capillaries in the whole body is, we cannot say that much blood capillaries are present in the human body. And now let us see what are the functions of these capillaries. It allows outward diffusion of oxygen into the intercellular fluid and from there into the tissue cell. So here you can say that these capillaries allow outward diffusion of oxygen. Capillaries, it is allowing the outward diffusion of oxygen and it allows inward diffusion of carbon dioxide. So outward diffusion of oxygen and inward diffusion of carbon dioxide. And again it allows the inward and outward diffusion of substances like glucose, amino acid, urea, hormone, etc. So again capillaries allows inward and outward diffusion of substances like glucose, amino acid, urea and hormones. Again, to allow leukocytes. What is meant by leukocyte? Yes, that is WBC. To squeeze out through the capillary walls by means of amoeboid movement. The last class you have seen that the WBC, which has no particular shape, just like amoeba, whenever it wants to move out, it squeezes out of these capillaries by the amoeboid movement. The capillaries have the power of dilating, that is contraction and relaxation. So dilation and contracting. So dilation is called as vasodilation and contraction is called as vasoconstriction. So this capillary can contract as well as they can dilate. And here when we walk in the hot sun, you can see that the skin or especially face turn red into or pinkish color. That is increases blood flow in the capillaries. When it is too cold, you can say that your face turn bluish in color. Why it happens so? Yes, it is because of the reduced blood flow. So the capillaries again reunited together and then increase in size. So many small capillaries. So you can say that arteries, it will come like this and then again it will be branching into arteriole and then again fine branches like this. These are called as what? Yes, capillaries. These capillaries again coming and united together like this. Okay. It will be coming and united together and increasing. So it will be increasing in size and assuming the same three layers, that is and then the smallest united common branch is called as venules. So these capillaries united together and form the what it is called venules, and then the venules join to form larger veins, and compared with the arterioles, venules are larger and having much weaker muscular cord because arteriole have thick muscular wall is present. So the differences between these arteries and veins, you can see arteries will be carrying what blood vessels that carry blood from the heart to different organs, whereas veins will bring back blood from different organs to the heart. And arteries are progressively branched and whereas veins are progressively unite. There are smallest artery breaks into arteriole, and here how smallest vein arise from the venules. and then walls are elastic in the case of arteries. Walls are elastic, and whereas in the case of vein, walls are non-elastic. And in the case of arteries, it has a narrow lumen, and whereas a vein has a wider lumen. Then you have seen that how no lines in their inside. Arteries have no walls in their inside these arteries, whereas in the veins it has walls. And these arteries can constrict or dilate to control blood flow, whereas when these veins, they cannot constrict. So these are some of the differences between arteries and veins.